Hey everybody, it's Melissa Ohden with the Abortion Survivors Network, and with me I have a special guest today. Some of you may recognize her because maybe you've attended National Right to Life uh, teen groups with her. We were in Charleston last year about this time, and I'd say that's probably one of the things we're most bummed about this summer is that we won't be there for the National Right to Life convention. Not everybody knows this, although maybe Jolie will tell you this. Maybe you know already. Jolie is a good friend of mine. I am so grateful for her and her family. And we met first probably 10 years ago at an event for Wisconsin Right to Life, and somehow became fast friends after that. And so Jolie had asked if I would be willing to do a video, as I know camp looks a little bit different for y'all this year too. And I asked Olivia to join me. Yeah. And surprisingly, she didn't have anything to do. So we just wanted to, I don't know, have a little conversation about pro-life activism, maybe the lives of an abortion survivor and her family, maybe about what it's like to be a pro-life teen. I'll be really honest, we didn't really make a lot of plans for today. Some of our best, my best presentations are completely off the cuff. So I think that's what we're aiming for today. Yeah. I know, the light is flickering, so interesting. Yeah. But yeah, I guess let's just have a conversation. Yeah. For people who don't know everything about me, what would you tell them?
As much as it seems like you've got such a weird life and everything's different, you're a mom. You have friends. You take us to school when we had school.
School.
You bring us to parks and walk with us. You make us clean and bring down our laundry. Mm-hmm. You're a mom. It's different, but it's the same at the same time.
I feel like there was a time recently where it was hard for you having the mom who is the abortion survivor, who is out there fighting, testifying before Congress, or lands on Fox News. Is it hard sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, especially being on social media, because people don't always, they aren't the nicest. And I've seen people saying that you shouldn't be alive and that they wish somebody would finish the job. And I've got to protect my identity, so I can't say anything. But gosh, I wish I could.
Why do you think they say that?
Well, because they don't know what else to say.
And I'm glad that we're actually talking about this. This is what I was hoping might come out of some of this conversation if we didn't plan it, is it's a little bit different and unique for us as a family and as people who are pro-life, because our beliefs are so intricately wrapped up in who I am, right? And my experience. But then there's something very similar to what happens for all of us. For all of you who share your beliefs very openly on social media, you do tend to then experience from time to time those attacks that Olivia is talking about, where people are attacking you and your beliefs, or then somehow want to make it personal, saying, oh, all pro-lifers need to die, or whatever that is. I hate having to talk about that in pro-life activism, but I think we have to acknowledge that it happens. And so for us, what happens is we're attacked for not only our beliefs, but ultimately what I do, because I'm very public in it. But I think there's a lesson to be learned for all of us in how do you handle yourself when those kind of things happen online.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Well, I mean, don't try to completely change their mind, give off the reasons why you're pro-life. But I know people get really, really angry if you say too much or you don't say enough. Mm-hmm. And that's always the problem, because people will get mad over anything. Mm-hmm. So if you do come across something like that and you are going to talk to them about it, be kind about it. Don't cuss them out or something, because people do that, and that just makes the problem worse. So
be pro-life in the
be
combat
about it. Yeah.
Do we pick arguments with everyone who has something to say about me?
No. I wish
I'd be there all day, every day.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen as much anymore. I can joke about that. I mean, it does still sometimes happen, but yeah, we choose to pick our battles wisely, right? There's not every combox is worth fighting in. Certainly there are ways to plant a seed in a conversation. If someone is presenting information that you know is blatantly false or so misguided, somebody I think last week on Instagram, I had posted something about every life being wanted. There's no such thing as an unwanted person, because we're all made in the image of God, and at the end of the day, we're always wanted by someone. And when people call people unwanted, which people used to do that to me, but now they know better. When people say someone is unwanted, I truly believe that phrase that says more about the person saying it than it does about that person, right? But this person was going back and forth on my Instagram feed saying, well, what about, and what about? And so that time I jumped into the combox and very respectfully, kindly started to say, and what about every person having dignity and value? And, what about, those children conceived in rape or incest, their dignity and value, and the trauma that abortion causes women who conceive in rape or incest and go on to have an abortion, right? All of those things. And she kept going on and on with me. And I talked about my background in domestic violence and sexual assault counseling. And she was saying, well, I can't believe someone who's educated like you would still, think that abortion is not okay in those circumstances. So then I'd walk it out again, right? Saying, well, here's what I know to be true about violence and trauma and all those things. And it was really late at night. And finally we kind of got to the end of it. And she was accepting and didn't battle anymore. And I said, I just thank you for asking tough questions, because I am more than willing to have a conversation. And I thought that was a really good example of how we can have a conversation and do it respectfully. And I don't know that person's history. I don't know where they're going to go with all of that from here on out, but I can leave that whole thread feeling like I did the right thing. Yeah. And you don't have a lot of opportunity to comment on social media yet. Let's just be honest. But as you do, I hope that you use the same information in terms of when to pick your battle, when to know that maybe somebody else can be the one to do that, when something needs information, statistics, relevant information. Yeah. We were talking a little bit this morning, and Jolie will probably get a kick out of this. So Jolie, this part of the conversation is for you, but what's your earliest memory of pro-life activism?
Well, mainly going to events with you, even when I was younger.
How young is young?
I can't remember full trips and things, but I can remember little bits of things from 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I can remember even National Right to Life things when I first met Clara. And I mean, it's pretty cool that I can still remember some of that stuff.
What sticks in your head about that, though? Just out of curiosity. I mean, I know we all remember snippets of experiences, but is there anything that sticks out to you that you remember in particular?
How kind all the people were.
That's pretty cool.
How cool they were. I remember
Jolie.
Oh yeah. Meeting people at the dances when I was really little.
Yeah.
A bunch of the different hotels. I can remember that really well. I don't know why.
Don't we all miss hotels right now?
We do. Stuff like that.
Well, that's a great memory that you remember how kind people are. I think there is, you and I talk about this a lot too. People have sometimes a preconceived notion about people who are pro-life,
Yeah.
right? Somehow we hate women, we only care about children.
Yeah, that's an argument.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're patriarchal, we want to oppress people, all of those things. Your experience has been good with people who are pro-life.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I love that really your earliest experiences in pro-life activism were really some of mine too. Not everybody would know this about me. Certainly Jolie knows this about me, but I found out my story of being a survivor at the age of 14. For reference, you're 12. So
Yeah.
that is something that I think about a lot lately, is you are getting close to that age that I was when I found out. And I didn't share about it publicly for a very long time. Part of that was the need to heal. The part of it was not knowing that there were other people like me. And so it was a very painful and lonely existence for a long time. But the first time I ever spoke publicly was back in 2007. And I was speaking with Feminists for Life of America at the time. And you know this story. Some people know this story. Yeah, I was just a few days pregnant with you the first time I spoke publicly. And I was so sick. Oh my gosh, I was so sick. Thought I just really had a bad case of nerves, was not supposed to be a public speaker. And it turned out it was just you. Yeah. Totally worth it. Absolutely worth it. But yeah, your earliest moments in pro-life activism were mine too. And I think there's probably a lot of people at camp who can relate to this. It becomes very much a family experience, right? This isn't just something that I do. It's something that we do together. Mm-hmm. When you were really little and I'd go fundraise for pregnancy centers, you used to search my car because she was an only child for a long time. Yeah. And so you would search my car because you thought for sure those pregnancy centers had to have a baby.
Well, obviously.
Me. Yeah, you'd say things like, well, aren't they there to help women and babies? Don't they have any?
Well, yeah. I mean, I was using my head.
Yes, you were using your head. So it makes sense, right, in the grand scheme of things. But I hope that all of you realize that no matter what age you come into the pro-life movement, it's such a gift to have that experience, to be surrounded by people who are pro-life, whether it's adults, whether it's people your age. And what an incredible gift it really is to have that world view. Yeah. Because it has made our family who we are. I know it's made me who I am. It's made you who you are. And I think sometimes we can look upon the world and think, why don't you get it?
Yeah.
It's because we've had this experience that has allowed us to see the truth about abortion and the needs of women and the plight of unborn children and how we're all called to be a part of making a difference. So it is a huge blessing to have that opportunity. And so I hope that all of you have had that same opportunity as well. I want to talk for a minute about being a pro-life teen.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's being involved in things with Wisconsin Right to Life. We haven't been to camp in a long time. I will readily admit that. I know.
I miss camp.
Camp was great. I'll wash your dishes. That's another interesting story about me. I have no problem wiping off tables and doing dishes. And I do lots of people's dishes on a regular basis.
Dads.
Dads. That is true.
I wash my dishes.
You too. Sunday we'll be back at camp and we will wash your dishes. And I say we because she can help. We now know she can wash your dishes. But you love pro-life events.
I do. I love pro-life events. They're so much fun.
What's fun about them?
You get to meet all these cool people and they teach you things that maybe you already knew, but it's hard to explain. I love it so much. The environment and how amazing people are. and hearing other people's stories and being educated, all that stuff is so amazing to me.
You had a great time in Charleston last year.
I
That was your
did.
first time of going to.
All the
Mhm.
teen stuff.
Was there a speaker in particular that really impacted you? I mean, I know we talked about it at the time. I think I remember.
Well, there was I can't remember his name right now, but it was about euthanasia, and it was just it was an interesting story. I can't really explain it, but it just I didn't hear much about euthanasia until then, so that was a big reason why it impacted me so much.
Well, and I think that's really important to talk about is, even though you've been raised in the pro-life movement, and certainly, my activism has lent itself to you knowing so much about abortion, the reality is there's always more to know.
Yeah.
And so even as a mom, I am not always able to give you all the information that you need. So that's one of the reasons why camp is so important, why the National Right to Life teen events are so important, because you're getting information from people who are so brilliant, who have been activists and lecturers and researchers in so many pro-life issues that are very diverse. And so, yeah, that's a really good point.
Something that I also really love about being a teen and pro-life is that you get to, and going to all these events, is that you get to meet people who have the same passion for something as you do. Someone who believes the same thing. And it's amazing because sometimes you're not going to just meet those people on the street. And
we don't slap something on our head that says, I'm pro-life, you want to be my friend?
We should do that.
We could.
We could do that.
We could tape it, see how people respond.
We get so many dirty looks. We would.
I don't know. New video coming up soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's, you've established some really meaningful friendships with people. And those are the friendships that, I think are so important and powerful. And certainly Jolie, our connection, I think, is a proof of this too, that we can live, in different parts of the nation or even different parts of the world. And those kind of relationships stick over time.
They do.
Which is really cool. Yeah, it's important to find people who have the same beliefs and values that you do. Very cool.
It is.
So if you had one takeaway or one piece of advice that you would want to give to other teens about the pro-life movement or getting involved in things, what would you say?
I mean, that's hard to say. Gotta think about that for a second. Don't change your ideas on social media. Don't hide that you're pro-life on social media. Maybe you don't have to just go to every post and say, I'm pro-life. You don't have to do that. But if you come across something that is pro-choice or something, you don't have to just be like, oh, I love that. There's no point in doing that.
So be true to who you are online as well as in person.
Yeah. Because, again, social media affects a lot of people, and it can affect the way you see things. So knowing and staying true to what you believe in is really important.
Yeah. That's a great takeaway. You must have a really great mom.
I do.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. No. Let's see. So that's your takeaway. What would I give as a takeaway? I didn't plan this out for myself either. My takeaway would be kind of, to echo what Olivia said, be true to yourself. Be willing to do the hard things, which means sometimes continuing to get educated about things that you don't understand or you don't know about, like euthanasia and other bioethical issues. It means always being willing to help someone out. I can joke about washing tables or washing dishes, but I guess the reason why I can joke about that is because even though I'm known as a national figure, I'm never afraid to serve other people, whether it's at a camp or through a pregnancy center or somebody in our community. I'm just always willing to say yes and do what I can to help someone out. So yeah, be willing to serve no matter what the capacity. Mm-hmm. And I guess I hope the other piece that you've heard us talking about today is, always be willing to get involved. Mm-hmm. Get involved locally if you have the opportunity to get involved nationally, maybe even internationally, because not only do you get to make a difference in people's lives and ultimately in our culture, but you meet a lot of great people along the way. Definitely. And you make great memories and establish really great relationships. Mm-hmm. So, for what it's worth, that's Olivia and Melissa Ohden on Monday morning.
Oh, yeah.
Talking to you about pro-life activism. Hope you guys have a great time at your virtual camp. We will see you soon at a camp.